guys, it's Christy. Welcome to card number 8 in my Loads of Love card series for 2014. Today I'm going to be using this little mini stamp from Lawn Fawn. This is called Be Mine. I'm going to be making a square card today just for something different. And I'm using some papers from this True Love paper pad by Basic Gray. That's the chevron stripe there. And then I've got this blue polka dot piece from the Lucky in Love from My Mind's Eye. And then I've got a scrap of green cardstock that's from an older My Mind's Eye collection. So let's go ahead and get started. To begin with, I've cut out my die shapes with the Lawn Fawn circle stackables. I've got the scallop circle, and then I've got a couple of the smaller circles. We're going to begin by adhering this blue circle to our background piece because it's going to be the sky. I think I'm just going to take combo mono multi, and because that gives me a little wiggle room to slide that perfectly into place. We'll just put a small thin layer. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just line that up and adhere that into place. Alright, now I'm going to take the green circle and we're just going to free cut a small little sloping grass line. I think we'll go something like that. Looks good. We'll set this piece aside for another project, and I'll take a little bit more of the Tombow Mono to adhere this piece down. Just hold that in place, give it a second to dry, and then we can continue on with our card. I'm going to be using several stamps in this set, and one of them is the bee, and he is the central image, so I want to make sure I get him perfectly on the card. So I'm going to figure out where I want him. And then I'll just take my stamp press and we'll take some Memento Tuxedo black ink and we'll go ahead and stamp him into place. Okay. Next one we're going to take is this heart trail, and we want that to line up with our bee as well. So I'm just going to put that where I want it, pick it up with my stamp press, and we'll go ahead and stamp that as well. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to take the little flower stem and we'll ink that up. We're going to stamp that several times in the grass. We'll do another one, down here somewhere. And, I think 2 is going to be good for this small little scene that we're doing. I'm going to take the little heart because this is a Valentine's card, and it is going to the Cards for the Heart card drive that benefits St. Jude's Kids. By the way, I have been talking about this card drive all throughout this video series, and I don't know if I mentioned that there are prizes. To me, it's not the main purpose. The purpose is to create these cards for these kids, so I haven't mentioned it before, but there are prizes. So I would really encourage you guys to make some extra Valentines for these kids and get those sent out and be entered to win in the drawings. And check out the link in the description bar below for all the details. I put that in every single one of this video series. So there we go. Now I think, it looks like it just needs one more, doesn't it? I think we're going to do a little bit of a lower one, maybe down here. And Before I put that heart stamp away, I'm just going to stamp it out on white cardstock so we can cut them out and color them and paper piece them over top. I've got my bee already and some extras so I can make some extra cards as well. I always try to stamp out a bunch of images at once when I've got to stamp out. So now we'll just take that little flower stem and I'm going to slide it over here so that we don't get ink all over the desk surface. And we can start to color our little images. I'm not going to bother to fast forward the video for this because it's such a quick bit of coloring, but I will zoom in. Okay, what I'm going to do is just shade these hearts a little bit on the right side with my DR7 marker. This is my favorite red combo. If you watch my videos, I'm sure you're aware I use this combo almost always when I'm coloring red. This is DR5 now. Just bringing that up and over. And if I get a little bit outside the lines, it doesn't matter because we're cutting them out anyway. I try not to waste ink, but sometimes it can't be helped. And now I'm just going to take my DR3. That will complete my red trio. By the way, these markers do have both the bullet and the brush nib. I just happen to pull off the cap on the bullet nib, and it's such a small area that it doesn't really matter. So now we've got some nice shading there on our hearts. I'm going to take my CT4 marker and just shade one of these bees. Actually, I should cut out the one that's closest to the hearts to make it easier. And take CT2 for a little contrast. I'm going to skip over the CT3. Just go ahead and fill that in. It's such a small area that just 2 colors are needed, really. And then BG9 I'll do for the stripes. And just 1 color really is needed because it's so small and there's already the hand-drawn shading lines on there, so you really don't need too much. And then we'll take a little bit of BT1, that's a blue turquoise. Well, I like a lot of contrast, what can I say? We'll start with BT2. We'll just add a little bit. And now I've got an extra B for another project, because we just needed 1. Switch to the BT1 and just bring up that color a little bit. And I'm going to leave the ends white for a little contrast. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and trim these out and we'll be back to finish the card. Alright, I've gone ahead and trimmed those out and lined them with a black marker just to cover the white core. That's how those are looking. So, I did put my stamp set away too soon. I forgot to do the sentiment, so before we get any further, I'm going to do that. And what I'm going to do is just curve my sentiment around that spot, and that is really easy to do with these clear stamps. I'm just going to take my block and kind of put that on a curve and see how that looks. I think that's going to be good, so we'll go ahead and ink that up. And I think I've decided I like that centered, so we'll put that right over top. Okay. And it looks like that goofed just a tiny bit, so I'm going to take that memento marker again and just fix that little line right there. Okay. Now I'm going to take some Tombow Mono Multi again, and we're just going to adhere our little hearts and bee in place. In fact, it might be easier to just put the glue straight onto the focal panel and then pick up the hearts and do it that way. Get him exactly where we want him. And the more I look at it, the more I think that the leaves need just a touch of color. So I'm going to take, just take a DG3 marker and just add a little color back in. And then I'll take the DG2, just pull that color up. We'll go ahead and adhere this one to our blue panel. Got the Tombow Mono out today, so I'm just using it. Sometimes on these circle images it's hard to use the tape runner anyway, so. There we go. Now I've got my card cut down to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 because I wanted to make a square card like I said, and then I've got my pattern paper here cut down to 4 by 4, so I just get that nice little edge. And last, I'm just going to take some dimensional adhesive. We'll add a couple of these to the back of our focal piece here. I think to finish things off, even though I said we were done, I'm just going to take a little bit of stickles. I've got some Christmas red stickles and some crystal stickles. I think I'm just going to dab a little bit here down on the hearts, or heart flowers. And that does cover up most of our shading, but that's alright. Just using the tip of the stickle jar to move that around. And then I'll take some of the crystal stickles and I'll do it on the bee's wings. And I feel a lot better about that. So that does complete our card for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye-bye.